Good afternoon, everybody. Yes, I'm CEO of Atos Worldline India, which is a 500 e-payment expert company. E-payment is the only focus of our company. So this is an Indian company. And you should maybe have noticed the brand Atos, because you can see that in POS, in shops, and also on internet. When you buy something on internet on your mobile, some shops you will see the Atos logo. So we are in 17 locations in India, and we have a data center in Mumbai and also here in Bangalore. So it's a great pleasure for me to be here today, because in this industry we can find a lot of entrepreneurs. It's part also of my DNA. So 20 years ago, when I was a student, I won a lot of entrepreneur contests. But I decided to join a big international company to have more experience, let's say, thinking that 1 year after, I will build my own business, I will conquer the world, etc. Finally, I never left this company. So it was great to understand that you can feel entrepreneurship without creating your own business. It is possible in some companies. Atos is one of those. We can enable entrepreneurship inside the company. But of course, it is not at all the same as if you risk your own money, for sure. So I never did that. So I have a great respect to this category of entrepreneurs who risk their own money. So today I will not show you 50 slides full of figures you can find yourself on the internet or in the industry association's report. No, I will share my ground experience, because before coming in India, I was responsible for internet payment and mobile payment in Europe, for Europe. And so Atos is the first player in Europe in this space. So we processed 600 million transactions a year. And to give you an idea, 600 million transactions a year, this is roughly what all Indian transactions, you will find all Indian transactions from POS, mobile, internet. Of course, POS is the largest piece of these 600 millions, but this is done only by this solution called SIPS in Europe, so only on internet and mobile payments. So it's a huge volume, and so it's an opportunity for me to share experience on business models I have seen in my career just before. So to see what is key for internet and mobile payment when we are a merchant. So actually we will start by internet payment with some very simple questions, but key questions. So one of the first, and maybe each time I visit some exhibitions, I have one of the question is it good if I store payment details from my customer? So merchants asking me if they should store or not payment details. I don't know a single example when it is relevant. From a cost point of view, from a risk point of view, from a KYC point of view, I never saw a single good reason to do that. You can find good payment gateway to do that for you. So why a merchant should do that by himself? This is never the good choice. So you have the choice of good payment gateway to do that for you. So no need at all to store. It's a huge risk for you, of course. It will cost you more end to end. So this is not at all a good idea. And for KYC, you can use many other parameters, and for example, the card number is not at all the right key to identify your customers and to develop a loyalty program. So which payment gateway? Which one? So it's a good question. Of course, it's key to answer this question because no payment gateway, no business and no money for you for the e-commerce website. This is clear. This is the key point in the website. If the payment gateway is not available, there's no money, there's no business. So yes, it's obvious. This payment gateway should be reliable. This is clear. And so that's why we have 2 data centers. So if we have an issue on one, the second one can take the volumes and process seamlessly the transactions. And also, of course, it should be the core business of this company, the payment gateway company, because then you can ensure you have the right skills, the right experts to manage this payment gateway. Don't forget that this is your money. So this is really key to pay attention to that. One other point is this company will maybe surely store the payment details of your customer. If there is an issue with this payment gateway, if the system of this payment gateway is hacked, your customers will never go to this payment gateway because this is your customers. So of course you are the single point of contact for them, and so they know you and nobody else. So you put your customers in the hands of this payment gateway. This is your image, so you need to pay attention and to choose carefully this payment gateway. So no need to say that you need to assess that the security level of this payment gateway with all regulation and compliance labels, of course, PCI compliance, etc. You need to ensure that, yes, this payment gateway, the quality of this payment gateway is good to ensure the security of your customers. So, well, if I have a problem with the payment gateway, we'll have a compensation. So, what is difficult is to understand that the payment gateway is only the front-end module of a big payment chain. Behind the payment gateway, you will find banks, you will find schemes. So if there is an issue at the payment gateway level, maybe it's not at all the payment gateway fault. Maybe there is something wrong after the payment gateway. Nobody is perfect, so even schemes and big banks can have an issue, an outage, and then the payment gateway will not be available or will not be able to process your payments because there is an issue behind the payment gateway. So second point, this is linked to liability. Of course, you have to sign a contract with your payment gateway, and there is normally a liability clause. And so it is difficult to have unlimited liability. And normally, if this company is serious enough, you should not have an unlimited liability clause because it's not serious at all for any company to sign an unlimited liability clause. This is the life of the company at stake. So you will never be covered for unlimited damage, clearly. So if finally there is an outage at the PG level, so the question will be, if you developed the loyalty of your customers, those customers maybe will come back 1 hour after and will do their purchase. So for you, it will not be a loss, but of course, it will not be 100%. So at the end, this is partially a loss of business. But suppose this is Diwali. Diwali, you have big ambitions, and so if you have an outage at this period of time, this is finally a big loss, because of course this is Diwali will not happen 1 week after, so this is a loss. So here, this is important to find someone very reliable and also big enough to give you a compensation if it is relevant, because of course if this player is big, if this player is sustainable on the Indian market, he will have his image at stake. So he will, of course, he will try to have a good image in this market. So you will enter in the discussion with him about compensation. But of course, if it is a very, very small player, non-Indian player, well, for him, it will not be so important for him to give you a compensation. So clearly, this is something you need to have in mind. So now, one of the last common questions is, do I need to put many payment means? Cards, net banking, prepaid cards, etc., etc. So, well, the easy answer is yes, for sure. You will give a comfort to the end user to use what he prefers to buy. So this is always a good idea. What is wrong is that if you have to manage a particular way to manage cards, credit cards, a particular way to manage Amex card, a particular way to manage net banking, this is just a nightmare for you at the end. So here what is key is to have something fully integrated to give you a single report with all the payments. It could be cards, non-cards, but all should be in a single report. Then you can focus on your business. You will go straight to the point with the reports, and you will not waste time to handle many different formats, etc. This is the same for the administration web interface. So you should have something integrated and common. Otherwise, you will have many login passwords for many different interfaces. You will have different ways to manage things. And at the end, you can have error, you will waste time, etc. So what is key is to have something really integrated. And so maybe it's better to have 1 or 2 payment means rather than 10 if it's not fully integrated. So, well, no need to say that Atos qualified for all those qualities. So I will let you find, of course, if others can do that also. So leaving internet payment, we can touch upon the mobile payment now. So 2013, this is the year for mobile payment. If you look at last year headlines on IT papers and business papers, this is the year of mobile payments. And you can do that the year before, you will find always the same headlines. 5 or 6, it started 5 or 6 years ago. So, what can we conclude about that? First of all, this is not a question of technology. All around the world, you have different technologies, and in Atos, we have experience in many countries, application based on the SIM card, we do based on SMS, based on a web app, based on many things. We have different countries with different experience, but clearly, in terms of volumes, this is disappointing. So it's not a question of technology. You have only, if you look at the world, you have only few local successes. There's nothing global today for which we can say this is a great success. It will be the reference for the world. There's nothing like that today. What we can say also is that it disturbed a lot of existing stakeholders. Look at the schemes. Look at the banks. Look at telcos. This is something disturbing. So not easy to clearly define the approach, the strategy, and then to be fully aligned with a clear vision on mobile payment. So I remember I was, so again, 3 years ago before coming in India, I was involved in the design of Byster, which is a new payment means. So it was new 3 years ago in France. And so Atos created a JV with the 3 main telcos in France to set up a mobile payment means. So you can imagine with those 3 telcos, it was, let's say, 90% of the French market in terms of telcos coverage. We are very strong in France, so you have the end users with the telcos, and you have the merchants, because we are strongly in this payment business in France also. So we had a lot, our portfolio of merchants was very big, and the portfolio of end users, let's say, for telcos, was very, very big. So it was very good on the paper to join the 2 big assets to create and to launch and to push. And so, of course, the example of South Korea, of Japan, were in your mind at this point of time. We are strong enough to push this, and unfortunately, it is again disappointing in terms of volume. Why? Because it is big companies, because some started things in terms of payment in other countries. It was not fully aligned with their strategy. So even by creating a JV, by putting money, millions of euros on the table, it was not easy for them to fully align on a single vision and to really push this in France. So it is not a failure, but it is not a big success, and actually not the success we expected at the creation of this scheme. So why it is so hard? Because it touches our behavior. This is not so easy to change the human behavior. We are setting up a new R&D department in Mumbai. So I have a lot of candidates saying that, yes, I have a great experience in mobile payment. So I did the IMPS integration, I did this technology, etc. Okay, fine. So now, I ask those candidates each time the same question at the end: how many mobile payments have you done? Said, well, not a lot. It's always like this. They are involved in this business. They know the technology. They develop mobile payment application. And even for those categories, even of those people, it's not easy to do a mobile payment. So I think it touches our behavior, our human behavior, so it's not so easy to change this. So in my mind, well, we are closer and closer, of course, of the expansion of mobile payment, but definitively in my mind, it will not be an explosion. It will grow, but never maybe we can say that this year is the year of mobile payment. It will come. The growth will be high, but it will not be, in my mind, a big explosion. So, but for sure, we have to consider that even if it is not done today, as soon as possible, for when you are a merchant, but it will not be an explosion. So don't worry if you are not already there. We can see, we can see all over the world, there's not a big volume for the moment. It's rising, clearly, but it is not. 2013, we will not see the explosion of mobile payment, unfortunately for us, because you can understand that we would like to see more and more electronic transactions. Our revenue is fully based on the number of transactions we processed. So we push everywhere we can because we are worldwide. So we have many experience. We are involved in many projects. but unfortunately, for the moment, this is not big volumes. Okay, so I think there's one more presentation after me, so I'm sure you are hungry. So thank you very much for your attention, and if we don't have time for a Q&A session right now, I will stay after, and so feel free, please feel free to interact with me. I will be more than happy to answer your question. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jean. That was really useful.